So last time we looked at posting, taking things from our journal that were general credits and debits, and how to transfer those into our ledger. Today we're going to talk about posting the column totals from our journal into ledger accounts. So remember, when we get to the end of the page, we have our column totals, or we get done with our journal and we have a column total at the bottom. We're going to talk about how that gets transferred and recorded into our ledger. So we've been putting these check marks in the post-reference places, and we've never really discussed, what does the check mark mean, right? So these check marks in your journal indicate amounts or transactions that are not going to be posted in your ledger. So these cash transactions get a check mark because there's not a, a specific ledger item for that. Or the general credits and debit totals get a check mark because, the general credits and debits are divided up into the respective accounts, and those respective accounts get totaled, but not the total of all, general credits and debits. Or the brought forward gets a check mark because that's not a transaction that gets recorded into our journal or into our ledger. Does that feel okay? So again, all that information is recorded, it's just recorded in an aggregate rather than as an individual transaction. Okay. So let's take an example here of how we take our total from the sales credit column and move that into our ledger. So we start by writing the date. And we write the journal page number. We record that as our post reference in the ledger. And then we record the column total. So again, sales credits, there's only credits for sales. So there's that. And then we write the new account balance. It's the first entry, so the new balance is just that only amount in there. And then we record the journal, or return to the journal and record the account number. So that's the 410 is stating what account inside of my ledger that number got recorded to. So again, it's like completing the circle, right? We start in the journal, transfer that information to the ledger, and we finish off by taking where we put it in the ledger and write that back in the journal. So we have a full circle of information there. Is everybody okay there? So the other two columns that are not general credits and debits are in addition to the sales credit, is the cash debit credit. So let's look at how we move those. So the first, we'll look at the cash debit. So again, we start by writing the date and recording the page number as the post reference. And then recording the amount of debit. We put that in the debit column, shockingly. We make a new account balance, and then we record the account number into the journal. Notice that when we're recording these reference marks below the column totals, we're putting those in parentheses. When you go and do the Work in Mind tab, you gotta remember to put it in parentheses. It'll show up red if you don't do it, and they'll mark it wrong if you don't put a parenthesis there. Just giving you a heads up. As I was playing around this morning, making sure that I knew what to do, and it was like, oh, why is it not taking this? Oh, it says in the directions also. So put them in parentheses, but here's me telling you again. And then the same idea for the cash credit column. So again, date, reference, amount. What's the difference though when we do the totaling, right? Credits cancel out debits. So instead of recording a separate credit total, we had 7,120, we take out 4,200 or 4,523. So we're still positive, so in the debit column, the 2,597. Just the difference of those two numbers. Everybody's okay there? Again, probably want a calculator to do the calculation because it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you're talking like 4 digits, subtraction, carrying 10, you know. And the last thing we do is record the account number back into the journal. Everybody's cool? Very similar, like workflow is the previous, recording the general credits and debits into the ledger. Yes, sure. So example here, this was our journal page where we've completed the posting. So notice under each column total, there's a mark indicating whether that total was carried into the ledger or not. Remember, the check marks indicate it's not carried over individually. Be part of some aggregate number in our ledger. And then example of our ledger with the postings completed. Notice we have one page for each of the account types. So we have cash and petty cash and accounts receivable for Main Street services and so on. It's a million things here, right? So the ledger is like lots of pages. It's taken all the information from the journal and like indexed it, basically broken it out into like relevant categories into these specific accounts. So if you want to look at how your rent, how much you've been spending in rent only, you can find that easily rather than if you tried to look through the journal, you'd be looking through page after page and transaction after transaction. Or if you're like, how are we doing with Main Street services? Are they paid up? Well, again, without the ledger, you're having to sift through page after page of journal, transaction after transaction, looking for everything that's relevant to that. The ledger allows you to have it all in one place. So when somebody asks you that question, how's our account standing with these people? How much do they still owe us? All you do is flip to the page and be like, they still owe us $322. It's like, okay, have an answer real quick. So which column totals for a journal are posted? Sales credit, cash debit, cash credit. Okay, the general column totals are not. So those three are referred to as special amount columns. So that's the cash, debit, and credit, and the sales credit are considered your special amount columns. Under what conditions will an account balance be a debit? That's if the debits add up to more than the credits, right? If you have more debit money than you do credit money. And then the next question, when will an account balance be a credit? Yeah, we have more credit than debit, basically. Yep. Feel good? James? Sure. All right, you guys ready to work together here? Good. Yo. I know, I'm excited too. It's a short slideshow though. It's okay with these presentations, we're trying to bang out it online. All right, so what I've just opened up is the 4-3, work together. If you want to follow along at the same time, I invite you to do so. And I don't like this view on the side. I like to do this for whatever reason. I think it's easier to not have to go. Oh, I have this already filled out. Reset, please. Yes. Okay. As I mentioned, I was fiddling around with this morning. Okay, so we have 5 boxes here that we need to do something with. And then we have some boxes inside of our ledger, right? These are just the different pages in our ledger. Everybody good on what we're looking at? So our directions say Omar Boji owns a service business which uses the account shown in question assets. The separate amounts on each line of the journal have already been posted. Post the journal's special amount column totals. Hint, make sure there's a post reference for each column total in the journal. To indicate a column total is not posted, type the letter V within parentheses. Type the account number below the amount column total within parentheses. And note if there's no value to be entered in a specific field, or if that value of an item is not relevant, leave the field blank to ensure correct grading.
Where is this located?
So this is 4.3 work together. So if you go under the 4.3 folder, you should see the work together.
Oh, there it is, in this box.
Okay.
Research real quick.
All right. So first thing I would do is I'd fill in the V's, the things that are not going to be posted. Remember the column totals that are not posted.
General.
Good, general credit and general debit, right? So I'm gonna type those in as parenthesis V. Oops. Try that again, parenthesis V and parenthesis V. Okay, so far so good? All right, now let's deal with the sales credit. Where is the sales credit going to be posted? I'm going to go to the sales account in my ledger. So I'll click that. The first thing I record is the date. At the top it said this was April, so, and I see it's the 30th is the day number. The post reference for this is going to be the page number for the journal. This is page 1. And then where am I going to put the 447?
In the credit.
In the credit, because it's a sales credit column. And my balance is now credit or debit? Credit of 447. And then my last piece is I need to give a reference on that sales credit column. What reference am I going to give that? 410. How do I have to write it though? Parentheses 410. Everybody good with how I got to 410? Okay. So now we're going to go to the cash debit. Where am I going to record the cash debit? What account? Where in my ledger am I going to do that? In the cash. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So we start with our date. So again, the totals are on April 30th. The post reference is the page number from the journal. This was page 1 of the journal. It says so up here at the top, right? Okay. And then what am I recording where?
2,890 in the debit.
That sounds great.
And then you put that in the balance debit as well.
Cool. Great. And then also I'm going to record
30th.
the 30th, and this is going to be the credit of
1,170.
Okay. And then where am I recording in the balance?
Credit stuff.
Nope.
Oh yeah, you subtracted.
Yeah. So this should end up living in the debit column, and it should be what? 1,720, I think. That look right to you guys? And what still haven't I done?
Put in the
post reference.
Yeah. What am I recording up here in the columns?
Parentheses will tell.
Perfect, guys, perfect. That all looks good, right? Check my sales, but
Yeah.
100%. Oosh. It's almost like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just one day ahead of you guys, so that's it. All right, you guys should, after finishing this, do the on your own and application problems for 4.3. If you still had 4.1 or 4.2 stuff that you're catching up on, as you catch up on that stuff, make sure you send me an email so I know to go back and check it. I'll be looking to check in the 4.3 work from today, probably tomorrow. So do your best to have it done by then, so you don't end up with it incomplete or missing or whatever. Everybody sound good?
Yeah.
Happy? Alrighty. Very good.